One can say that the 9th console generation has been drab, especially when you compare it to previous ones. An overabundance of remakes and remasters, some of those remasters being absolutely useless, with original releases spread out far from each other. Horrible practices from developers and publishers, a lack of variety of genres from AAA titles. Indie titles are basically carrying gaming on its back at this point. You all get it, it's been a bumpy ride. A far cry from where you compare it to the 8th generation, which gave us a boatload of amazing titles across the board at a higher volume. That meant we would have multiple years with stacked release lineups, like 2017. God damn, that year was loaded. Like, we really had Breath of the Wild, NieR Automata, Horizon Zero, Xenoblade 2, and Resident Evil 7 all in the same year. It's crazy saying that aloud. And 2020 was damn good as well. But getting back to current gen, last year for gaming was good. I mean, you had games like Metroid, which was my pick for Game of the Year, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Tekken 8, and Xenoblade, for example. But look here, man, 2025 though? This might be one of the most stacked years we had in a while, bro, no lie. This year has something for everybody, and it's giving me crazy 2017 vibes. I don't know, maybe it's just me. So today I want to go over some games that I'm looking forward to, or some that have already been released and I'm interested in, and perhaps bring some of these titles to your attention. Oh, and the games I'm talking about are not put in any particular order, and also I'm not going to go super crazy in depth about these games. I don't want to be here all day, you know. So without further ado, let's get it. So we are starting off right with Ghost of Yotei. I'm very excited for this one. Ghost of Yotei is a sequel to the acclaimed Ghost of Tsushima that was developed by Sucker Punch and released back in 2020. The game is not a direct sequel though, as the game has a new protagonist, a female warrior named Atsu, and takes place hundreds of years later in 1603 on mainland Japan during the Edo period. Based on what has been shown so far, the game looks stunning. We see snow, vast plains, mountains, and forest. It looks like it's really taking advantage of the PS5's hardware. Atsu is also shown using a rifle, which is very interesting. It makes sense for the time period, but I'm interested to see how it flows with the game's combat. Ghost of Tsushima was one of the best games I played in the last few years, and a lot of that was due to its combat and story. While I wanted the sequel to Jin's story, I'm personally fine with them branching off. I think if they take what made the first game memorable and expand upon it, you know, like adding more elements to open world exploration, all while having an interesting narrative, I think they can amaze players like they did back in 2020. Looking forward to more news on this one. Now, I really don't go out of my way to keep up with anything Xbox. I don't own an Xbox Series X or S. I had an Xbox One, but I didn't really use it a lot. Last time I was really consistently playing on an Xbox was during the 360 days. So a lot of the information I see or hear about Xbox are from the channels I'm subscribed to or pages I follow. And one day on January 23rd, when I was scrolling through my subscriptions, I saw that Xbox hosted a developer direct. My sublist was full of games shown in the event, but one completely shocked me. You telling me we got Ninja Gaiden 4, man? I'm telling you, it shocked the shit out of me, bro. And that wasn't all. Right beneath the Ninja Gaiden 4 video, I saw that we were getting a Ninja Gaiden 2 remaster, a game I had fond memories of as a kid. Man, I got flashbang with announcements. I want to start off by talking about 4 though, and go over some of the info we got from the developer overview. This is the first new Ninja Gaiden game since 2012, and it's being developed by Team Ninja and Platinum Games. Platinum Games will be helping develop the game's combat system. The gameplay looks fast-paced, dynamic, and very fun, and I like the idea of having 2 protagonists to play in the game, and man, those visuals look sexy. Look here, man, I've never played Ninja Gaiden 3, so I couldn't tell you how I feel about the game, but for what I've heard, the game is very divisive among fans. Let's hope Ninja Gaiden 4 is a game that can satisfy the general fan base. It's listed for a fall release this year on PS5, Xbox, and PC. Now as for Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, the shit's out right now. As of the release of this video, you can purchase the game on the platforms I just mentioned for 4. However, even though it's out now, I haven't purchased it yet. When I clear out my backlog, I'll probably copy it. That aside, this remaster brings Ninja Gaiden 2 in Unreal Engine 5, giving it a modern, up-to-date look, and it's gorgeous. The original looked great for its time, and they managed to hit the mark again with the visuals. There are also added features like an extra boss, added playable characters, and more missions. If you haven't played a Ninja Gaiden game, and if you like hack and slash, I'd say look into it. People seem to enjoy it, and from what I remember of the original, it was a fun, challenging, and exhilarating game. The Metroid series is one of my all-time favorite franchises. It offers a pure sense of progression and exploration that few can rival. The series also specializes in providing an immersive atmosphere. The Metroid Prime games specifically are among my favorite games of all time, with 2 being my favorite. So you can imagine my surprise back in 2017 when Metroid Prime 4 was announced for the Switch. Then it restarted development. Then we did hear about the shit for another 5 years. However, in 2024, during a Nintendo Direct in June, we finally got our first true look at the game. And while it wasn't a whole bunch, we got our first look at how the game's graphics look, a tiny amount of gameplay, some hints at what the story and setting is, Samus's design, and of course a release year being 2025. And as of recently, we had another Direct giving us even more information regarding the game, like the name of the planet we'll be exploring, Viros. Samus also has psychic powers in this one, and it looks like it's set to bring in some sweet gameplay elements. And look, that's not all, man. We also got some exclusive gameplay of the opening area of the game in a recent Nintendo livestream, showcasing the game running in glorious 4K on the Switch too. Metroid hasn't looked this good before. Environmental storytelling and immersion are some of Metroid's key characteristics, and it looks like the visuals will help drive those home. Like everyone, I have a lot of questions regarding this game. Like, obviously we know Silex is returning from Metroid Prime Hunters, so what exactly are his motivations? What was that portal in the trailer? What exactly are these artifacts? I could sit here and ask a bunch of questions all day, but this isn't a Metroid Prime 4 video. But there's one thing I do know: if Retro Studios can provide the same deep atmosphere and interactive storytelling as the past games, while innovating on various fronts like gameplay, level design, and visuals, then I have no doubt that this game will easily live up to the Metroid name. It's been almost 18 years since the last Prime game, not including this shit. Out of all the games I've talked about and will talk about in this video, Metroid Prime 4 is among my most anticipated. And of course, we can expect this on the Switch, and the Switch 2. Man, Crimson Desert. I'm excited to talk about this one. Alright, so for those who aren't hip, Crimson Desert is an open world action adventure game being developed by Pearl Abyss, the same developer and publisher of an open world MMO known as Black Desert Online. A game I have a very complicated relationship with, but I need to bring this up. BDO has arguably the best combat in the MMO genre, in a nice expansive open world, and it seems Pearl Abyss was able to take from those elements and implement them seamlessly into a single player adventure. The open world looks really expansive, it almost seems limitless. Combat and movement looks like a mix of WWE and Zelda on drugs. Aside from attacking with your sword and bow, you can also wrestle and slam enemies. I mean bro, you even have a flying mount. Based on all the footage we have, it seems there is no shortage of things to do within this world. During the Game Awards, a trailer for the game was shown off and a release window was announced for late 2025. The game was supposed to drop earlier this year, but it seems they're letting the game cook a little more before release, which is fine by me. A world this big with all the intricate systems and interactions needs all of the time it can get. This is definitely a day one purchase for me, hands down. Death Stranding 2. Look what we have here, man. You see, I'm a big fan of Kojima's work. I love Zone of the Enders and the Metal Gear Solid franchise, with Metal Gear Solid 2 being my favorite out of those mentioned series. We all know the public feud between Kojima and Konami, which led to Kojima's departure and the creation of his own studio, Kojima Productions. Death Stranding was the first game released by the studio back in 2019, and it quickly became one of the more polarizing games to be released in some time. Death Stranding is one of those games where there is no in between. You either love it or hate it. And I love it, man. Death Stranding was a day one purchase for me, and I enjoyed every second of it. The story was pretty confusing, but very interesting. However, the gameplay was what took it over the top for me. I loved how the gameplay was tied to reuniting the world through its quests and structures built by yourself and other players. It truly felt like you were contributing to something greater, and it resulted in being one of the most satisfying and immersive games I've ever played. Death Stranding 2 seems to be bringing that back, but packed with even more. More action, equipment, characters, a new beautiful setting, more questions, even more stuff to mindfuck us. And I know I probably said this already about other games I've talked about today, but the graphics are incredible. Death Stranding is powered by the Decima engine, and you can tell Kojima and his team have taken full advantage of the resources available to them. This game drops June 26, and you can bet I'm playing it all summer. You can't have a stacked gaming year without a Monster Hunter game. I mean, you can, but having one definitely helps. Back when Monster Hunter Worlds and Rise came out, I would spend numerous nights playing it with my friends. There's something about that PvE skill-based gameplay that satisfies that MMO itch. Wilds has already been released, and while I don't have it yet, I know I'm lacking. I'm tripping, bro. But while I don't have it yet, as of the recording of this video, I can't wait to gather the same group of friends I used to grind with and just go in. I've heard generally positive things about it, including from my brother who has the game himself. Xenoblade Chronicles X is my favorite game of all time, so you can imagine the pure excitement I felt when it was announced that it was coming to the Switch. I even made a video giving my initial thoughts about it, just pure unbridled hype. I mean, y'all gotta understand, Xenoblade Chronicles X is a game that means a lot to me. The epic soundtrack, the dope characters, the most satisfying open world to explore, the mechs, the combat system, the story, the stunning scenery, and also did I mention the soundtrack? Guys, look, I could praise this game all day, but that's not the purpose of this video. But what does this remaster bring? Well, on top of all the bountiful original content, it brings new story content, improved visuals, a refined UI, and new scales. The game released back on March 20th, and if you have a Switch, I give this game the highest recommendation possible. Games like these are almost, dare I say, rarities nowadays. Rarely do you get such a complete package in a game like X provides. Please purchase this game if you can. It's one of those games that had me wishing my memory was wiped to experience it blind again. Souls-like games have been dominating the gaming space for a while now. The word Souls stemming from the games that pioneered the genre, the Dark Souls series. The genre is known for providing gamers a challenge while also allowing players to level the characters' different attributes in a dark, gritty world. Games like Code Vein, Sekiro, Lies of P, Lords of the Fallen, Mortar Shell, and many more take the formula that From Software created and add their own twist. The first Berserker Kazan, being developed by NieR and published by Nexon, is the latest game that's being added to the long list of Souls-likes. Now, a lot of you may not know this, but the first Berserker originally started off as an open world action MMO set in the Dungeon Fighter Online universe known as Project BBQ. I remember looking forward to the game myself and was excited to see another MMO bring some freshness to a struggling genre. However, to a lot of people's disappointment, including myself, Nexon cancelled it in typical fashion. You know, they're known for doing that shit. It was then announced that it would be renamed into what we know it as today, and that it would be a Souls-like still set in the Dungeon Fighter Online universe. I remember a lot of people's reaction regarding this. Like, bro, first of all, Nexon canceling another MMO and making it a Souls-like, an already oversaturated genre? Like, come on, man. But over the years, as the game was shown off more, I started to become more interested in it. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Souls-like genre is in no shortage whatsoever, but I still like the genre. I played Code Vein, Bloodborne, and Elden Ring, so I naturally developed some anticipation for it. A demo dropped for the game back in January of this year, and it was well received by many, including myself. The controls are tight, combat is fun and fluid, and the game has this nice anime shell-shaded Code Vein look. If you're a Souls-like player, you know what to expect. I recommend you put this game on your radar if you like Souls-likes or if you want to get into them. The first Berserker Kazan is available right now. It dropped on March 27th, 2025. Wow, man, that's fucking crazy. No, I'm sorry, man. I'm just laughing because there's literally another anime Souls-like that released on the same day as the first Berserker, and it also has a demo. That game is AI Limit. I've also played the demo for this one as well, and I enjoyed it. In terms of vibes, I get more of a Code Vein feeling from this one compared to the first Berserker, which I love. But hey, man, if you're a fan of Souls-likes, you have two great options to choose from. Have at it. 2025, man, what can I say? It's stacked as fuck. Numerous titles to look forward to, various heavy hitters, extremely reminiscent of 2017, and to top it all off, there's a little something for everybody. Shoot, there's probably some games I overlooked that are coming out this year, and we'll most likely discover them after this video drops. And also, we had the Nintendo Switch 2 dropping this year as well, so another brand new console that's highly anticipated. But yeah, and also there are games that are presumed to be coming out this year, but I didn't want to include them as there's no hard confirmation for a 2025 release. These games being the big catch, an indie retro inspired 3D platformer that looks dope. It also has a demo, so be sure to check that out on Steam. Nightmare Operator, a third-person horror shooter that gives me Psycho Pass and Silent Hill vibes. And then there's Chrono Odyssey. While this one has a 2025 release window tied to it, I want to talk about it in a separate video. With it being an upcoming MMO, a genre that I have a lot of gripes with currently, I believe it deserves its own separate video. You know, I got a lot of shit to say about it, man, so expect a video about it in the near future. Hopefully we'll have more concrete news about the game as well by then. But yeah, guys, let me know what your most anticipated game for 2025 is, and also feel free to let me know of any games I overlooked and should check out. I'm always looking for something to get excited about. Well, that's it for this one, guys. Stay safe and stay blessed out there. Peace.